Again, hey, it's Dan here in Virginia. Today I thought I'd give you a little overview of a new airplane I've got. It's called a Commander mPd. It's from E-flite. As you can see, it's a low-wing sport plane. And as soon as I saw this plane, I fell in love with it. As I mentioned before, I am a sucker for red, and I think this thing is just beautiful. I think it's probably the best looking foam sport plane on the market, but I'm kind of opinionated. So anyway, it's a 1500, I'm sorry, not 1500, it's 55-inch wingspan, which gives me a little bit of a problem. It won't quite fit in the back of my truck without having to put a cockeye, but that's all right. It's got a Power 15 motor in the front, and they say this thing will run on 2200 milliamp batteries, but it will, but I don't recommend them. The ones I have, this thing is tail heavy, and up front here, underneath here, you'll see this prop nut. Here's one right here. That prop nut is also a giant weight, so when they designed this, they knew they had a problem. They had to put some more weight in the front of it. So they have, this prop nut goes right under the spinner, and it tends to come loose. In fact, on the second flight of this airplane, the propeller came clear off. That's the only time I've ever had a propeller come totally off an airplane. Propeller went to the left, propeller and spinner. Airplane went to the right, went into some tall grass, no damage done. But what you have to do, it made me paranoid, so you have to unscrew this spinner about every 2 flights. Unscrew it and check the tension on this prop nut. So that's one thing you need to be aware of. This is a 12x8 prop. It's pretty aggressive. This is not the one that come on it. This is my painted up APC. I love APC props. So also you might note on these wheels here, it comes with wheel pants and smaller wheels, which for me are no good. I fly off of grass, so I just took them off immediately. I put on, these are Dubro 3-inch super light wheels. If I had to do over, I'd probably get, I don't know if you can get 3 1/4 or 3 1/2, but it could take even a little bit bigger one. It's very easy to build. There's no glue. It all screws together. Down here inside the wing, there are actual wing joiners, electrical connections. You just press the wings in, and the connections make an automatic hookup. Now, there's 4 screws on the bottom. They say you can take these wings on and off, but believe me, it'd be a real pain in the butt to do that every time you flew this airplane. So I like to keep it all together. And let's take a look inside. It's got a nice magnetic hatch. It's got a lip here. You got to sort of pull it to the side and then up. This is a very strong magnet on the end. There's 2 of them. In fact, there's one here and there's one here on the hatch. But inside, there's plenty of room. It's got a nice area for your battery and your ESC up front. It's got 2 straps. Put a Velcro strip. Here's your, you draw a line on here. I put this battery well ahead of, pushes all the way up until this battery is ahead of this line to make this thing balance out right. And when you do that, you can barely get the rear strap on there, but there's no problem. It holds the battery in there. Put some Velcro on the bottom. I run these Turnigy 3000 milliamp batteries. So if you try to run a 2200, you'll have to shove it all the way forward. And mine, it just makes it, you can't get it a good CG on. This has enough weight, you can push it all the way forward. And this will run about 7 minutes. If you try to run a 2200, they tell you in the manual that set your timer at 5 minutes. Well, that's pretty short flight time. So if you look inside, I've got her set up. I like these Hobby Eagle A3L gyros. I run that. I got the receiver on the side. Here's the servos for the elevator and rudder. I like to mark them. So it's pretty good. Nice roomy area. Put your batteries in and so forth. You simply hook this tongue, kind of an affair, under the front, and then line it up and let it go. She's on. So a little pilot, an if you can see it or not, but a few times I've flown it about a dozen times now. And the pilot's already got the bubble head, got cancer of the brain there. The sun beats down through this canopy and bubbles up the foam. So I call them pilot bubblehead. So anyway, she's a nice handling plane. It's sort of a floater. That's typical of these low wing sport planes. You can't just bring this in, chop the power and let it coast in. You have to fly this airplane down to the ground all the time. But that is typical, as I understand it, of sport planes. You have to fly them. You can't just let them come in, chop the throttle, and it doesn't like to flare out. You got to drive it all the way down. So it does have nice flaps. I'm not used to using them. Flaps, everything's installed. The servos are ready to go. You hook them up, they all work. I have to learn to put them on sooner when I come in, because this thing is a 4-pound airplane with a battery in it. It's a 4-pound flight weight, and for me that's quite a step up. My other planes are only 3 pounds, or a little over 3 pounds. So this plane has quite a bit more momentum coming in to land, and it will cuts through the wind a lot better too. So it's got good stability in the air, but when you bring her down, you better get on the flaps early and drive it all the way to the ground, and you won't have a problem. So anyway, that's about it. I hope you like this little intro to the plane. Seems to be a good little plane, a good big plane for me, and having a lot of fun with it so far. And I hope you like it, and out here.